Every U.S. vehicle used in World War II. America didn't just win with numbers. Innovation, mass production, industrial might, and sheer mechanical diversity define the U.S. war machine, from light scouts to heavy steel monsters. Let's dive into every vehicle that rolled, rumbled, and roared across every theater of World War II. Tank destroyer. M3 gun motor carriage. The first tank destroyer, essentially a 75mm gun mounted on an M3 half-track. It was open-topped and vulnerable but provided much-needed mobile anti-tank capability early in the war. M6 gun motor carriage. A 37mm anti-tank gun mounted on a Dodge 4-ton truck. It was used primarily in the Pacific where Japanese armor was lighter. The open truck bed offered no protection whatsoever. M10 Wolverine. The standard mid-war tank destroyer. It used a modified Sherman chassis with an open-top turret mounting a 3-inch gun. Over 6,000 were produced. It was effective but the open turret made crews vulnerable. M18 Hellcat. The fastest tracked armored vehicle of the war, capable of 55 miles per hour. Its 76mm gun and speed made it a deadly ambush predator. Crews loved its mobility despite thin armor. M36 Jackson. The most powerful American tank destroyer. It mounted a devastating 90mm gun that could defeat any German armor. It arrived in 1944 and proved essential in the final campaigns. Self-propelled artiller. M7 Priest. The 105mm howitzer mounted on a Sherman chassis. The distinctive pulpit-like machine gun position gave it the nickname. It was the standard Allied self-propelled artillery piece and served in massive numbers. M8 Scott. A 75mm howitzer mounted on an M5 Stuart chassis. It provided direct fire support for reconnaissance units. The fully enclosed turret offered better crew protection than most self-propelled guns. M12 gun motor carriage. A massive 155mm gun mounted on an M3 Lee chassis. It was designed in 1941 but didn't see combat until 1944. Its long-range firepower was devastating against German fortifications. M37 howitzer motor carriage. The M7 Priest redesigned to mount a 105mm howitzer. It was developed late in the war. Most saw service in the Korean War, rather than World War II. M40 gun motor carriage. A powerful 155mm gun on a widened Sherman chassis. It arrived in 1945 and saw limited combat in Germany. Its long-range precision fire proved valuable in the final months. Armored cars. M3 Scout car. An early war wheeled reconnaissance vehicle. It was open-topped with minimal armor. It served primarily in training and with military police units. M8 Greyhound. The standard armored car of the U.S. Army. 6 wheels, a 37mm gun, and excellent speed made it perfect for reconnaissance. Over 8,500 were produced and it served in all theaters. M20 Armored Utility Car. Based on the M8 Greyhound but without the turret. The open-topped hull was used for command vehicles, reconnaissance, and anti-aircraft duties with a 50 caliber machine gun. T-17E1 Staghound. Originally designed for British forces, it was a powerful 4-wheel armored car. The U.S. never officially adopted it, but thousands were sent to Commonwealth forces under Lend-Lease. Halftracks. M2 Half-Track. The standard armored personnel carrier. It could carry 10 men plus a crew of 2. Over 13,000 were produced. It was used for mechanized infantry, mortar carriers, and countless other roles. M3 Half-Track. Nearly identical to the M2 but slightly longer with a rear door for easier exit. Over 41,000 were produced, making it the most common half-track variant. It served in every theater and with many Allied nations. M4 Mortar Carrier. An M2 half-track modified to carry an 81mm mortar. The mortar could fire from inside the vehicle or be dismounted. It provided mobile indirect fire support. M15 Multiple Gun Motor Carriage. An anti-aircraft half-track mounting a 37mm autocannon and twin 50 caliber machine guns. It was designed to protect columns from German air attack. M16 Multiple Gun Motor Carriage. The ultimate anti-aircraft half-track featuring a quad 50 caliber mount. Its massive firepower was also devastating against ground targets and infantry. M21 Mortar Carrier. Based on the M3 half-track, it carried an 81mm mortar. It was essentially identical to the M4 but built on the longer M3 chassis. Amphibious vehicles. WW. The legendary Duck, a 6-wheel amphibious truck based on the GMC 2.5-ton truck. It could drive off ships, swim to shore, then drive inland. Over 21,000 were built and they revolutionized amphibious operations. LVT-1 Alligator. The original landing vehicle tracked. It was unarmored and designed purely for cargo transport. It proved essential in the Pacific Island hopping campaigns. LVT-2 Water Buffalo, an improved version with a better engine and suspension. Over 2,900 were produced. It was still unarmored but more reliable than the LVT-1. LVTE -1, the first armored and armed version mounting a 37mm gun and a turret. It provided crucial fire support during beach assaults in the Pacific. LVTA -4, the definitive fire support variant mounting a 75mm howitzer in an open turret. It could suppress enemy positions while delivering troops ashore. LVT-4, the most produced variant with over 8,000 built, featured a rear ramp for faster unloading. It was armored and became the standard assault amphibian for marine operations. Engineering vehicles. M1 Armored Combat Earth Mover, a heavily armored bulldozer blade mounted on modified tank chassis. It was used for clearing obstacles, filling craters, and preparing defensive positions under fire. M32 Tank Recovery Vehicle, based on the Sherman chassis with the turret removed and a crane installed. It could tow disabled tanks and perform field repairs. An essential vehicle that kept armored units operational. M74 Tank Recovery Vehicle, based on the M4A3 Sherman with an 81mm mortar mounted in place of the main gun. It was also used for recovery operations with a large winch and crane. Sherman Crab, a mine-clearing Sherman fitted with a rotating drum and chains that beat the ground ahead of the tank. The chains detonated mines before the tank reached them. It was primarily used by British forces but some saw U.S. service. T1E3 Mine Exploder, heavy rollers pushed in front of a Sherman tank. The weight triggered mines before the tank itself. It was cumbersome and not widely used due to poor reliability. Utility vehicles. Willys MB Jeep, the most iconic military vehicle ever built. Over 360,000 were produced. Lightweight, reliable, go-anywhere capability. It served as reconnaissance, command, ambulance, and utility vehicle in every role imaginable. Ford GPW Jeep, essentially identical to the Willys MB but produced by Ford under license. Over 277,000 were built. Together with the Willys, it became the symbol of American mobility. Dodge WC Series, the 6M Ton 4x4 utility truck family. Models included weapons carriers, ambulances, command cars, and reconnaissance vehicles. Over 250,000 were produced in various configurations. Dodge WC-51 weapons carrier, the standard configuration with an open cargo bed. It could mount machine guns and carry troops or supplies. Excellent off-road capability made it indispensable. Dodge WC-52 weapons carrier, nearly identical to the WC-51 but with a pintle-mounted machine gun as standard, used extensively by reconnaissance and combat units. Dodge WC-54 ambulance, the enclosed ambulance variant that could carry 4 stretchers plus medical personnel. Over 26,000 were built and they saved countless lives. Dodge WC-56 command car, a lighter reconnaissance vehicle with seating for 6 and radio equipment. Lower profile than the weapons carrier made it better for forward observation. Dodge WC-57 command car, the longer wheelbase version with more radio equipment and seating. Used by senior officers and headquarters units for mobile command posts. From the humble Jeep to the mighty Pershing, American industry produced an incredible diversity of vehicles. These machines carried the fight across 2 oceans, through deserts, jungles, and frozen battlefields. The US didn't just build vehicles, they built victory on wheels and tracks. Thank you for watching to the very end. What vehicles did we miss in the video? Kindly drop your thought to improve our next video.